Hello again, YouTube. This is Dr.Kendo, and I'm back with Scribblenauts Unlimited. This is the object editor commentaries where I create your favorite characters from movies, TV shows, games, nerd and geek culture stuff, except for YouTubers, and I'm making them in the Scribblenauts Unlimited object editor. That's a feature of this game right here, Scribblenauts Unlimited. I'm playing on Wii U, but it's also available on the PC. The 3DS version does not have the object editor. So here we go, starting off with a Titan as the source object. The only thing I don't like about the Titan in this game is that it walks very strange, you know. Scribblenauts Unlimited, all the characters walk sort of stiff, you know. It's like their arms and their legs move very, in a stiff way somewhat. But the taller a character is, often the more you can notice it, but especially with the Titan, just from the proportions and the way that it moves. We've got the coloration and an iguanodon bicep or upper arm leg-ish piece, because today we are creating Opal. Opal is a fusion on the show Steven Universe, and so we're also going to have a tapestry right here. That's the object that I've just conjured up, because the tapestry is basically this long little sash looking thing that is that looks very similar to Opal's from the cartoon, except for Opal's doesn't have those little strings or whatever coming down from the bottom of it, so that is going to be one difference. We're using a tooth right now. That's going to be sort of the top that Opal is wearing, as well as a pretzel is going to be the lighter greenish colored part that is behind the darker greenish part. So you're really going to have to bear with me, because a tooth is quite an obscure object that we could use for this. So we're kind of making an unconventional Opal right here. And since Opal is the only character that I'm going to be creating today, I'll show you sort of two slightly different ways to create it. A pill is actually going to be used down for the feet, almost more so where the leg is extending down to the feet. So not quite the foot part of it, but I use the pill because it has sort of two different colors or two different spots that we can color on. So like for instance, the bottom part of the pill is going to be sort of where the foot starts out, I guess, and then the top part of the pill is going to be her actual leg with her skin tone. A kangaroo's arms are going to be the actual feet right here. On the other Opal design, I'll show you a different thing that you can also use for the feet, so it just depends what you want to use, you know. And honestly, Scribblenauts Unlimited, one thing about this game and when you're using the object editor is anybody can design things in a number of different ways. So the way that I do things, you know, you don't have to copy it exactly. It doesn't have to be the end-all be-all. You can take pieces of it that you like and use them in your own creations and your own designs of Opal or whatever you're making. We've put a star. Of course, the star from space is down there on her tapestry, and this is one of the arm pieces on the 10th page of the 29-page library. Now we're using another arm piece from the 29-page library, but this one is on the 20th page in the top right corner. It's just almost like a straight little arm piece right there, and you can see that we do have a little bit of the Titan still showing behind the tooth and behind the pretzel and whatnot. So these arms, you know, Opal has 4 arms, so basically we're going to be creating 2 of the arms on the actual body grid, meaning that they're not going to move with the arms. So what I'm saying is basically I'm going to put 2 of the arms on the actual arm grid, and then 2 of the other arms, since there are 4 total, not moving with the arm grid and basically on the body. So they're going to be stationary, but I'm also doing that to cover up a large portion of the Titan's body that was still showing up behind the tooth and the pretzel. But again, do this how you want, and we'll actually, on our other Opal design, I'll be sure to make the arms move in unison and things like that, so you can actually see both aspects and both designs at work. So here we go, we're doing the other arms now. You can see that I have the green grid part on. If you notice that panel to the left, that has all of our little controls where you can move things behind or in front of other things. You can duplicate stamps there, you can undo things. Well, the little top right button in that panel is the one that turns on the green grids. These grids are important whenever you're doing any sort of creation in the object editor. It's very important because it obviously determines where your different parts of the creation are going to move. You know, is your head going to actually move with the head where it's supposed to, or the arms or the legs, etc., etc. A pom-pom, twice sized up, pretty big, is going to be for the hair. You are going to want a piece of the long pieces of the hair basically on the body right now, and then you're also going to want them on the head. Just like my Jasper creation or other creations that I've done in the past, these characters with really long hair, that's how you got to do it. Since we are doing this as a 2-part object where the head and the body are 2 separate objects. Anyway, whenever we're doing the properties or behavior scripting right here, I like to read background information or fun facts in this series about whatever we're creating. So today is Opal from Steven Universe. She is the fusion of amethyst and pearl, first appearing in the episode called Giant Woman. She has big wavy platinum blonde hair, 4 arms, a pointy nose like pearls, and somewhat plump lips like amethysts. Opal's personality can be an unstable one, with Pearl and Amethyst being quite opposite, although at the same time she seems quite nurturing to Steven as she sang his own song back to him in that Giant Woman episode. And from what few clips I've seen of the Steven Universe show on YouTube, Opal seems to be kind of the least monstrous of the fusions I've investigated. Have I just not seen enough yet? But anyway, she's pretty agile and stands on the tip of her toes, leaping long distances and practically gliding across the ground. She also has a proficiency with her longbow, which is like a fusion of Amethyst's whip and Pearl's spear. So of course, that's in keeping with our design here. You can see she's standing on her toes like that, with those kangaroo arms being her kind of tippy toes and her foot. So we'll go ahead and move on now with the head as the source object for our next little piece of the creation. One thing that I've noticed is that, the gamepad, which I play on a lot with the Wii U, I kind of look at the gamepad more so than the television, but even that, there's a discrepancy between the television and the gamepad and what you see on the computer here. So the main discrepancy is the colors. So the gamepad, it shows it in a high resolution. It's like in a 1080p format and everything. The gamepad shows, I would say, probably closest to the true colors of things. But then I sometimes notice that when I look at them here from the capture card and onto the PC that I've captured it onto, the colors are, slightly different. Often they're darker or lighter than I expect, but this time the hue is slightly different because Opal's skin is almost more like a bluish lavender with like very grayed out and pale. So my design, I'm seeing it as a little bit more purple than I would have liked, but again, you can edit these things to your liking, and I still think that it looks close enough to where I approve, but I do just want that to be acknowledged. With the head, we've started off with the kiwi as sort of the main head piece that we're going to use, and we've also got kiwis twice for the whites of the eyes. The letter V is going to be her pointy nose. You could also use a dunce cap or something if you wanted to, or a similar shape. A dot is going to be the little gemstone that's on her head, whereas we used a pearl, or you could even type in Opal, I believe, as the gemstone that is on her chest back when we were doing the body. So here, an eyebrow is going to be the top lip as well as the bottom lip, and then we're going to use one of the 29-page library arm shapes. This is going to form the mouth pretty well. The eyebrow sometimes is a little bit thicker than I'd like, but just occasionally. I think that this is actually, now that I kind of look at it further, it is looking all right. We're going to take a dot. It's going to be the colored part, the iris for the eyes, and then another dot is going to be the pupil, the black part of the eyes. This is pretty good. I'm going to size things down just a little bit here, just proportionally for the eyes. I don't want them to be hugely wide open, but she does have some big eyes, I will say that. A comb over is going to be sort of like her bangs slash hair, what little hair she does seem to have in the front of her face, because she's got most of the hair way in the back. Very long hair, as I discussed before. So here we'll size the comb over as best as we can. It kind of goes down to the chin, maybe a little bit past that. So I'm actually going to use 2 comb overs right here because her hair that's here in the front does go sort of up to the top of her head and around just a bit. So hopefully we'll have that looking good here. But you can see a portion of the head is actually the original head that we started with the source object is sticking out in the back. That was planned, so that is not dire right now. We are going to fix that with, we're going to cover it up basically with a pom-pom again for the hair. But I'm going to make her little headband or hair tie or whatever. It's going to be the bat's, an animal bat. It's going to be the bat's body, but we're just sort of using the last like little corner piece of it, just as you see here, and moving it behind the kiwi head. So here we go with a pom-pom. We're going to color that the platinum blonde color. Of course, make it pretty big. It doesn't have to be huge, but big enough to match up, I guess, with the body hair pieces that we put down. So there is going to be a little bit of going back and forth with the head and with the body to see if they match up good. You basically want the head pom-pom hair to match up in line with the body one. The bottom of the head pom-pom matches up with the top of the body pom-pom, if that makes sense. The letter I is going to be the little yellow stringy part to link up with a rabbit's foot, which is kind of that fluff that she has just extending down past her hair. And we're going to just create, we're going to basically on the other side of her chin, we're going to do the letter I for the string, the yellow part coming down right there. But we're not going to do the rabbit's foot once more because this is going to be like it's behind her other shoulder, so kind of it's like the perspective of not looking straight at us, but also not looking completely horizontally to the right. It's giving us sort of that 2/3 view or whatever. So it's all about perspective. So here is the other opal. I just named it Opal Other, just for the sake of it, but it's an Amazon is actually the source object this time, and that's, you can see the Amazon's torso or body shape right there. The only thing about the Amazon is, it doesn't quite have the stamp formation that Opal does in the show, and, it also has the little, strap coming over her shoulder, the spaghetti strap, which Opal usually doesn't have, of course. And a symbol is actually the foot this time. So a symbol like on a drum, the drum symbols, the hats. So that's just sort of a look at two of the different feet that you can use and two of the different source objects that you could use. Here you can see how ridiculous the Titan moves when it walks and moves around like that. But obviously you could see our last creation from last Sunday's episode. It was, I should say, last Steven Universe creation. It was Malachite. This battle is going to take forever, it seems, because obviously I gave the fusions lots of health, and our Opal obviously sinks into the ground because we've got a lot of different layers there on the feet extending past the Titan's foot. So, we did keep the original Titan's feet, but we put stuff way down underneath it as well. The pill and the kangaroo's feet. So that's why it is way down into the ground, it looks like, and might appear to be shorter than Malachite, but actually if we put it kind of up on top of the same playing field, they'd be a similar height, or they'd be Opal just a little bit taller, of course, standing more upright. But here you can see another variation of her head as well. We've kind of put more so pimples for the little dots in the eyes, and then we've got her eyebrows sort of squinting down. Not frustrated necessarily, but a focused look, So do the head, whichever kind of design you like, That's a look at, I guess, a few different ways you can create the pieces of Opal. We, of course, added more to the tapestry sash that's down in between her legs. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure that more Steven Universe requests, and especially the fusions, are going to be requested. Probably for next Sunday, I'm going to do something different, though. I actually do need to take a slight break, but I'll still upload something. But it's because I will be on my anniversary with my wife, Mrs. Kendo. Her and I have been married for 3 years as of September 1st, 2012. And we've been together for 6 as of May 1st, 2009. So with that, we're going to be taking our anniversary trip. We try to do something special, of course, every anniversary, every September 1st. Since September 1st falls on a weekday, we're actually taking it over the weekend, so a little bit later than our actual anniversary. But that means I may not actually be here for Sunday, so I'm going to try to schedule an upload as, best as I can manage my time. You guys know how busy I am. At least I hope you know how busy I am. I'm insanely busy. I do so many things in life. But yeah, again, it'll be something different this time. It's something I've been working on for a while, I guess, and I just want to show you. So it'll be probably a rather quick episode and something pre-recorded. We'll resume the popular requests, though, shortly after that. So keep them coming. And of course, I appreciate all of you. I will catch you on the next vid. And thanks for viewing. To all wrongdoers, they're like a spectacle, so you can be the viewer. And
down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return to the rest of our lives.